What's up, guys? It wouldn't be another day if there wasn't another D4 drama happening. That's right, every day it seems like there's a new drama happening in the Diablo world, and today we have a pretty unique one as some new information has come out based on the rareness of these unique chase items that we were told are in the game, but people were becoming pretty skeptical of it because nobody had seen them. Some of these items are going to be Andariel's helmet, Shaco, Godfather's sword, Doombringer, and a couple of other ones, rings and amulets. We have some data now based on these items, as we got some information from Adam Jackson. This is his tweet here. He says, "Hello, want to clear up some details on the rarest unique items in Diablo 4. They can drop from level 85 plus enemies. You get them anywhere you can get a regular unique, and they always drop at 820 item power. Currently have 6 of them in the game, right? And that doesn't mean 6 of the items exist in the game currently. That means that there are 6 of these super unique items, and they are really rare." Now, this you can see that this tweet, a lot of people have seen this tweet. 2 million views, almost 1,000 retweets, a bunch of likes, bookmarks, so on and so forth. But it didn't come across as a positive message as you might think. When I saw this tweet, I thought, awesome, okay, perfect. This just means that we know that they're in the game. We have chase uniques to go after. If you're a Diablo 2 player, this is nothing new, right? The odds of ever finding a Zod rune in Diablo were so astronomically low, it's not even funny. The odds of getting a Tyrael's armor in Diablo 2 were so low, it's not even funny. I've never found a Tyrael's armor, and I don't have an exact number, but I'd say probably close to 20,000 hours of game time in Diablo 2. And I'm okay with that personally. And the reason I'm okay with that is A, the item is tradable, which is not in Diablo 4, and I do think that's a problem. And B, the super unique items are not build defining, which this might be a part that some people can argue on, but I don't think these ones in Diablo 4 are build defining either. So here we'll have a slideshow of some of the items going across. We have the Shaco. We'll pause on it here for a minute real quick, just so people can read it. It's nothing on here is really that great other than the +4 ranks to all skills. So you'll see it has a maximum life roll, which is generic for helmets, cooldown reduction, generic for helmets, resource generation, not a good mod, and then 25 all stats, also not a good mod, and then you have a 10 to 20 roll of damage reduction. Now that is a good mod, but again, nothing unique to the helmet itself. The only thing you're really looking for here is the +4 ranks to all skills. I don't think that that's it is cool, but it's nothing that is going to make or break your build. It's nothing that's going to decide whether you kill Uber Lilith or not. It's nothing that's going to decide the fate of your character. The other one that we have here is a little more unique one that has to do with maximum resource. I don't know what builds in the game really care about maximum resource. I haven't played Necromancer yet in Diablo 4, but I assume Bone Spirit works in the same way as it probably did in Diablo 3. So maybe that in particular does. Other than that, I can't think of any other crazy situations where you might want to use that. And I guess it does offer a little bit of a damage reduction with the take draining your resource when you take damage. Other than that, the other mods on there are not very good. Damage while healthy is not great. Resource gen, core skill damage, all stats, they're all very mid rolls. So nothing here that's really going to make or break your build. We have the 2 swords here, Doombringer, which looks, it has a nice base damage on it. It has critical strike damage, which is cool for the implicit modifier, but the rest of it is not amazing. It has 12% max life, which is okay. On a weapon, not so much. You have core damage, you have base damage, you have lucky hit heal, which is not great. And then you have the shadow damage to surrounding enemies. And that 5,822 damage is going to be nearly nothing compared to the damage that your actual character is going to be doing. Maybe you kill some white mob skeletons with that or whatnot, but nothing you're really going to care about. The other one is the Grandfather Sword, and maybe this one does have an argument for being a pretty decent item, as the damage on it is really nice. You do have crit damage for the implicit modifier, but again, you have a bunch of dead mods on here. You have 30% damage, can roll up to 56. If you did get a high roll on that, that would be very good. The maximum life mod on there is no good. And if you have a leveled up character, you'll know exactly what we mean. The base life that you gain every time you gain a level quickly negates the need for life rolls on your gear. Maybe you have one life roll on a piece of gear somewhere, but 9 times out of 10, a damage reduction roll is going to be more efficient than a life roll in almost every scenario where you're taking damage. The all stats roll, again, very very mid. This is not it's not a great roll. It's just a roll that you're okay to see on a piece of gear as a filler. And then you have ignores durability loss, which is completely useless. It might as well not even be there. How often are you guys repairing your gear? Not very often. Maybe if you're just dying all the time, maybe, I guess. But even then, to fully repair your gear costs what, 100K? That's selling one rare item, right? So it's just completely useless. And then you have crit strike damage increased by 100%. That is a pretty big multiplier to have on there. That's not bad at all, but it's not unique. It doesn't make the sword extremely overpowered or anything like that. Getting a normal rare sword, putting the unique aspect on it that you need to make your build enabled, and then having good rolls on it like vulnerability damage, attack speed, crit chance, crit damage, etc., is probably going to be better than the Grandfather Sword. Plus, you're getting your aspect slot, which you don't get with the Grandfather Sword equipped. So I don't think that these are crazy items that enable anybody's build. You have this Ring of Starless Skies, which again, nothing too crazy happening here. Crit chance, crit damage, a lucky hit chance, and core skill damage. These are all mods that you can get on regular, rare, and unique items. And then you do have the consecutive core skill cast, reduces the cost, but it's only up to 40%, and there's not very many skills that are going to be just spamming core skills. Well, there's two things. There's either A, you can't spam your core skills because of your resource generation, or B, you've already solved that problem in your build, so you're able to just spam your core skills and not worry about your resource anyway, right? So there's not, in either one of those scenarios, this ring in particular is not going to help you. And since you can solve this problem without the ring, you're just losing again an aspect slot that you might need for your build, and replacing it with this. Now, the Andes helmet is a unique one. You do get a ton of attack speed on the helmet, which is pretty unique. You get life steal, which is a unique modifier, right? That one could be interesting. And then you do have the Poison Nova on a lucky hit. Now, it does have 10,000 damage over 5 seconds. That could be useful if you are scaling poison damage or damage over time. That's a pretty high number for the poison damage, but chances are, what are you playing where you're scaling poison damage? Maybe you're playing Poison Imbue, Twisting Blades Rogue, or something like that. The damage of your Twisting Blades is going to just be astronomically higher than that poison damage that you might hit every once in a while on the lucky hit proc. Think of this like on Breath of the Dying Rune Word in Diablo 2. You had a 100% chance to cast a Poison Nova on kill, right? Was it 100? Maybe it was 50. I don't know. It's been a little bit. But either way, that was essentially a dead modifier on that, as that Poison Nova would never be useful. It would never do the damage. Like I said, maybe you'd kill some Fallen or some Skeletons or something like that with it, but it was really just there for show. So I don't think that that's really anything build enabling going on in that situation there. So the fact that these items are rare, extremely rare, super duper rare, doesn't really affect anything, as your builds are not affected by these, right? It's very similar to just not being able to get a Tyrion's armor in Diablo 2, like we were talking about a little bit earlier. I've played Diablo 2 for 20,000 or so hours, a ton at my best guesstimation, and I've never found a Tyrion's might armor. It doesn't matter, right? Because this armor is not that good. You're not going to equip this armor over a Chain of Honor over an Enigma, over in the old days over like a Shaft Stop, or something, of that nature, a Fortitude armor, right? But this was a holy grail item that if you did find it, right, it was amazing and it felt really, really good. And that was the point of it. If you found a Tyrael's Might all the time, it wouldn't be special. Nobody would care. Honestly, if this Tyrael's Might armor dropped all the time, it would just get vendored. Just like the ring, just like the Doombringer, just like the amulet in these ones here. The only ones you might hold on to are the Andes, the Shaco, and the Godfather Sword, and those are just going to be in some niche situations. Other than that, I mean, the rest, if they dropped more often, they would literally just get vendored or salvaged. So I don't know what everybody's really up in arms about the items having a low drop rate. We have people like Paul Tassi, who's been in the Diablo news feed quite a bit. First, on his take about, and we included this in our previous video about the season resets. He's coming from the Destiny universe. He claims to have a lot of hours in Diablo himself, but he doesn't really understand the point of resetting seasons, and now he doesn't really understand why these items need to be so rare. I get it. I get it that people want to just see these items drop, and maybe they are a little bit too rare, and I have a take on that, and I have an idea on why that is right now, and I think it's just going to be a sit back and wait type of situation. But he says here that people defending the ultra rare Diablo uniques aren't really getting it. This is, oh cool, something rare to farm. You're not farming. You were trying to get struck by lightning. 2 of these total were found out of the millions of players in like 2 weeks. I mean, put that in perspective, though. I mean, it's 2 weeks into the launch of the game. Nobody cares. I mean, obviously, a lot of people care, but if they had perspective, nobody cares. It's 2 weeks into the game. We got confirmation from devs on Twitter that something like 80% of players haven't even finished the campaign yet. Who cares that there's only been a couple of these uniques that have been found? It doesn't matter. 80% of the players aren't even at the level that these things can even drop yet, or that they would even be usable yet. It doesn't matter. Now, there are a couple of problems with this situation of the late drops. So first off, there's the problem that items drop and they have a level requirement that is based on your character level, right? So if you're level 100 and you drop the Shaco, it's going to be like a level required 100 to equip, so you can't use it on any alts while leveling or anything like that. That's a faulty system. That doesn't have anything to do with the item being rare or anything like that. That's the system that Diablo or Blizzard has in place for that is faulty, and they need to fix that. There's also the problem that it's not tradable, right? So one reason why super rare items weren't a big deal in Diablo 2 was that you could trade, right? So runes, which were super rare to drop, the high runes anyway, they became the high-end currency for trading. So if you wanted materials for some reason for your build, you could get there, right? You could build up your trades. You could get other uniques, such as, Stones of Jordan and Skin of the Viper Magi, Storm Shields, Shakos, Griffins, Storm Treks, all of these mid-tier unique items, and you could trade up, building up currency, trading them up into runes, right? And then trading the runes for the Tyrael's Might. And it gave you a path to get to your goal, your end goal, which was getting the Tyrael's Might. That doesn't exist in Diablo 4, as there's no trading, at least no trading for these legendary and unique items. That is something that I think is really missing the point here. I really think that trading should be in the game. The downsides of trading do not outweigh the upsides, and community engagement and things like that. Sure, it enables RMTing, and it enables bots and all of this type of things, but as a consumer, that's not my problem, right? That's Blizzard's problem to solve that. And instead of actually trying to solve it, they just, they take the easy way out of no trading. And I do think that that is a problem. But it is what it is, right? And we have to deal with that. And as we have the game in front of us the way it is. So the only thing we do is just farm for these items. If you get them, it's going to feel really good, right? Imagine there's only, 5 of these existing in the world right now, and you get one, That's going to be a great feeling. And people say, "Oh, well, you're never going to get it." It's like, like Paul says here, it's like being struck by lightning. It's like winning the lottery. It's like doing this. It's like doing that. And it's like, yeah, all those. Well, getting struck by lightning doesn't feel good, but all those things feel good, right? Um, that's the point of that's the grind. Let's be honest. Playing an ARPG is essentially gambling, right? Every time you kill a mob, you're getting the dopamine hit for gambling, and the item might drop. So that's why those items exist. I don't really understand what the problem is, with that. I think it's perfectly fine, to be honest. The the reason why I think we don't see a lot of these items are A, the majority of people playing the game aren't even level 85 yet, right? The majority of the people of the game aren't farming level 85 areas, right? The majority of people in the game are not even aware that these items exist. So once the game exists and is out for a bit longer, then we're going to see more of these items popping up more and more and more as people refine their ability to farm, as people refine the information that we have on how to get these things to drop, as people become aware that these items exist and they want to farm for them. We're going to see more of these items existing out in the world. So I think that it's a problem that's going to solve itself. Now, my take on it personally is that we'll go back to here so people can see what the items are. My take on it personally is that these items, there's a portion of the game of Diablo that's missing, right? There's a portion of Diablo that is it feels like it was not implemented in the game, and I think that that's a part of the problem, right? So in Diablo currently, you finish a campaign at around level 50 or so. You grind, you grind dungeons and stuff up to like level 70, and that feels good. And then from 70 on, it feels empty, right? You're not doing anything. There's no gear grind. You're looking for very little increases in your gear unless you've been very unlucky. You're doing there's no increase in difficulty because everything scales with you the whole entire time, right? So it never really feels like it's getting super, super difficult. And then there's a jump, eventually, there's a huge jump up to like Uber Lilith, right? Which feels like it's way leagues ahead of anything else that's in the game. So it feels like between level 70, right, and Uber Lilith, right, it feels like there's this gap that was not implemented into the game. And that gap is going to be something like World Tier 5, a new tier of items that we don't have yet, something above Ancestral, something in there, some kind of a power mechanic in there for, character strength, I guess you can call it. It doesn't exist, right? So I believe personally, once we get season 1, or maybe it'll be season 2, who knows? But once we get the next level above World Tier 4, which is definitely going to exist, I believe that these items are going to become much more available. Sure, they're going to be rare. They should be rare. If you're going to quit the game because you haven't found a super rare item on, 14 days into the game or something, 20 days into the game, maybe ARPGs aren't for you, man. If last week you were complaining about season resets and now you're complaining about not getting super rare items, this might not be it, man. It just might not be the game for you. And ARPGs might not be the game genre for you. I've never had a Mage Blood in Path of Exile. I've obviously never had a Mirror of Kalandra. Never had the Tyraels. I've never had a Zod rune drop in Diablo 2. That's just what it is. It's just what it is, man. Like, you don't need to have every single item in the game, right? Would you keep playing? There's a lot of people saying they're going to quit playing Diablo 4 because they'll never get these items, right? Would you quit? Would you still be playing Diablo 4 if you didn't know that item existed? Would you still be playing Diablo 4 if it didn't exist, right? Would you be like, oh, yeah, this is fine. I'm just going to keep playing, No, that item has no bearing on whether you should be playing the game or not. Like I said, it doesn't enable your build. It doesn't define your build. It doesn't give you any significant amount of power increase, assuming you're at the correct power level at the time that you should be able to drop that item, level 85. So, all in all, guys, if you're complaining about this, I don't know what to tell you other than just buck up and get out there and get farming. Be the one to find it. What else can you really do? Just get out there, start grinding, killing mobs, get the loot chase going on, and if you find it, hey, glory to you. It's gonna be awesome. Anyways, that's all I got today, guys. Find less to complain about. Just play video games and enjoy your time. Adios, chachos.